Hello everyone, welcome to the Power Academy. As we all know, day by day Ukrainian situation is getting uglier and the murkier. Every day being unfolded with new kind of disturbing events obviously reported by the media houses. Although the world should not believe in any news channels of the world, especially the western news channels, because they are there to speak against Russia whether it is there or not. The event I am going to unfold this time is really disturbing. It can be compared with the situation when the USA used the napalm to eliminate the Vietnamese fighter, those who were fighting against USA in 1960s during the Vietnam War. The USA was forced to use this kind of weapon because USA was losing that war. Eventually USA lost that war. I am saying it is a similar situation because the fears have risen over the use of the thermobaric bomb by Russia against the Ukrainian forces and the Ukrainian civilian population. This news is according to the Ukrainian ambassador to the USA. He reveals this statement by saying that the Russia have also used the vacuum bombs to eliminate the Russian forces and the Russian populations, which is the another term for this weapon, the vacuum bomb. So the Russia has to guard itself using this kind of weapon because these kind of weapons are really dangerous to use. Then Russia need to understand that these kind of weapons will going to create the chaos in the among the Ukrainian populations. Also, according to the so-called Amnesty International and the Human Rights Watch, the Russia is also using widely banned cluster mutation cluster bombs along with the vacuum bombs. So the use of these weapons is not legal as we know, but these bombs suck in oxygen from the surrounding air to generate the high temperature explosions. So these kind of bombs will going to give you the not kind of then general explosions actually happened when the normal kind of bomb exploded. These are kind of an explosions which will going to obliterate the things within the perimeter in which the bomb will be exploded. But the western media houses are claiming that the Russia is using these bombs only because of the hunch, only basis of the hunch, on the basis not on the basis of the hard facts. They have to come up with some hard facts. They came up with an conclusion because and only because the Russia is using the TOS 1 vehicle. That is why they came to an conclusion that the Russia is using this kind of weapon. And TOS 1 vehicles actually used by the Russian army to fire this kind of weapon. But they have to come up with an conclusive results that whether they have used it or not. And that conclusive results only can be revealed when the proper investigations will be done by the neutral authority. So the western media houses do this kind of lullaby every time. They did when Indian government actually revoked the Article 370 and the 35A from the Kashmir. They created the chaos by spreading the fake news. So this kind of thing has to stop, and they has to stop by using the upper hand. So whether there is an use of this kind of bomb and whether not this is the part of an investigation should be done by the United Nations or any other agencies. Then Russia should be penalized. So let's keep aside all the differences with the media houses. Now talk about what is the vacuum bomb and how do they work. A vacuum bomb or a thermobaric bomb is a two-state mutation explosive. This bomb is also known as an aerosol bomb. The first stage distributes an aerosol made up of very fine material, from carbon-based fuel to the tiny metal particles. A second stage ignites that cloud, creating a fireball, a shock wave, and a vacuum as it sucks up all surrounding oxygen. The blast wave can last for the significantly longer than the conventional explosive, and this bomb is also capable of vaporizing the human bodies. So if this bomb will going to explode it and someone will going to catch up within its perimeter, then its body will going to be vaporized. Such weapons are used for a variety of purposes and come in a range of sizes. If the size of the bombs will going to get bigger, then the explosion perimeters will going to get bigger. The bomb is also known as an bunker buster, cave buster, tunnel buster. That is why the USA used these kind of bombs to eliminate the hiding places of the Taliban and the Al Qaeda terrorists of Afghanistan. When the USA attacked the Afghanistan after the 9/11 Twin Tower attack from the Al Qaeda terrorist. So these bombs are very dangerous, very dangerous to use and should be handled with care. As the Western media houses claiming that the Russia has actually used this weapon, then Russia have used this weapon when they started their invasion. They at the time of the invasion they used it to busted the bunker of the Ukrainian army. And maybe they have used these kind of weapons on the Ukrainian population. As I said, it is the part of the investigation. So the Ukraine is accusing the Russia as the war crime nation according to the Geneva Convention, because according to the Geneva Convention, these kind of weapon, the such kind of thermobaric weapons or the bombs are prohibited to be used against any kind of human beings. If that human beings is military or that human being belongs to the normal population, these bombs should not be used according to the Geneva Conventions. And the Ukraine also wanting the world community to expel the Russia from the United Nations Security Council, but according to me it is not possible, because United States Security Council is Russia is the permanent member of the United States Security Council. So the voting will going to happen, and then some of the countries will going to vote. Most of the countries will going to vote against this kind of resolutions. As I said, the America also used these kind of bombs in the Vietnam. They also used these kind of bombs in the Vietnam. So Vietnam and also in the Afghanistan. Then no one was so kind to use these kind of things against the USA. But now they are saying that the Russia has committed a crime. But why at that time no one raised this issue? Because according to the 1993, the internal report of the USA, the country said, yes, these bombs are harming and should be barred from using. But USA used this bomb when they invaded the Afghanistan. They tried to sweep out the Taliban and the army by using these bombs. So the United Nations Security Councils have to take this matter head on. And these kind of thermoamic bombs are very dangerous because it burns the human body from inside. If someone caught within its radius, then its body will be vaporized. The effect of the bomb will going to give you the lung burn first. It will going to burn the lung first. That means that your body will going to get burned from inside. So that is why the weapon should be handled with care. As I said, the law should be equal for everybody. As it applies to the Russia, then it applies to the USA too. As the America is saying the proper investigations will be done, then Russia will be penalized, then the USA should be investigated of their 20 years of rule of Afghanistan using an thermobaric weapons over there to eliminate the populations, some of the populations of the Afghanistan. And the Russia should stop this kind of mayhem, this kind of war must be stopped. They must follow the international law and order. As the Western media claiming the Ukraine as a democratic nation, but they have to keep in mind that the Ukraine also is a corruption infested country. So how the EU will going to help the Ukraine to warn off these kind of corruptions, because the Ukrainian government is corrupt since it was created. As I always said, the Ukraine can develop itself as a neutral nation, as the India did itself. between the 1945 and the 1991 during the Cold War. The Ukraine should take the neutral stand. They should not go into any kind of bloc. If they will going to go for the USA, then the Russia will going to go for it. Russia will go against it, against their policy. If they will going to go for the Russia, then the United States will going to invest such kind of money in the name of Euromaidan. The Euromaidan crisis actually happened in 2014 when the previous presidents actually came into the clutches of the Russia. So these kind of things will going to invested by the Russian people, by the USA. So they have to be neutral. So right from the first, as I am saying, the Russia have to come back to the diplomatic table to resolve this kind of situation. They should not go to the war, because the war will going to create the chaos. As I am saying, this time the Russia is also sending the 64-kilometer long troops to the Kiev, because the Russian president was expected to end the war within the 2 to 3 days, but after it has long gone, the Russian president had got frustrated. They want the Kiev right now, because the Russia have lost so many soldiers, tanks and the BMP. That is why the Russia cannot afford that long war, because Russia's economy is very weak. They cannot support this kind of war very long time. As you know, the USA is a very rich country. They can go on with this kind of war as long as they want. They did in the Afghanistan, but Russia cannot do this kind of things. Russia did it in 1970s when the Afghanistan invasions actually happened by the USSR. But after that invasion, that proved to be a blunder for the USSR. After that, the USSR broke into 15 parts, and the Russia being the mother nations. So the Russia should not do it. And the Putin have to understand that the war is not the solutions of the peace. The peace has to come with a dialogue. So if the dialogue will be initiated, then everything will be solved eventually. So thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.